All right, gentlemen, pick up where you want to go.
Yeah, and I'll speed it up quickly. And I appreciate Sean for coming and making those comments. I think the important thing here that we're trying to point out is that Dreams actually levee improvements perform quite well economically in Dreams, and that we think that they need to be considered much more seriously. So moving on to the habitat proposals, I'm going to speed through this so you can read the ESP. This picture just shows the open water proposal we looked at in detail, and this was sort of our way to try to synthesize and balance a system-wide approach to an island-by-island benefit-cost approach. The island-by-island approach sort of zeroes in on these islands that don't have a lot of infrastructure on them and says these would be probably the lowest priority about that approach. So we wanted to look at them as a group and think about them systematically. I will just skip through these, actually, and
don't skip through the color chart, because that's actually a pretty useful way to see your major points and analysis.
I'm going to skip through to the color chart without going into the details of what we did in the analysis. But I think the colored chart, and this isn't coming through as pretty as I would like, but it's a way of summarizing the habitat proposals. And our three key areas: agriculture, recreation and tourism, and infrastructure services, and some of the proposals that are there. And basically, the dark red shading is showing...
Wait a minute, guys, pages aren't numbered, but it's toward the back, 3 or 4 ahead.
Yeah.
It's also in the executive summary.
It's in the executive summary,
and in the report
too.
itself.
Yeah. And I think this is... The value in this chart is it shows why we called out 3 strategies as being very large concerns for economic sustainability in the Delta. The dark red color coding is something that we had estimated at $20 million or more of annual potential economic losses in the Delta, so we consider that to be very large. The orange were losses that were in between those levels. Greens were benefits, and yellows were minimal impacts or balanced impacts. And the point here being is that 3 of the strategies we looked at, which was a large 15,000 CFS isolated conveyance facility, the 65,000 acre of tidal marsh restoration proposal, and the proposal that is somewhat created by us, but is sort of implied by taking, if you take some of these levee strategies to their conclusion, a 6-island open water area in the Delta is the implication of that. Those 3 we've called out because they basically, there's one area in which they've raised a very large economic concern, and then the other areas also generate economic losses, and so there's no offsetting benefits. And so that's the rationale. These are 3 pieces that we've recommended against in the ESP. Now, there are other pieces that actually can have economic costs in the Delta, but are of magnitudes that we think can be accommodated within the construct of economic sustainability and mitigated and planned in such a way that they work with economic sustainability in the Delta, or perhaps there's an offsetting benefit in another category. So that's just a graph that summarizes that.
Since I gravitated to the graphic because I thought and then I went back and read your text and it helped explain it, but let me make sure I understand this. These impacts, particularly the ones in which you place a dollar value on, I was not clear from the text or the chart. Are the dollar values as best you can within the statutory Delta only? Or are the impacts and the losses you're projecting also in county-wide areas?
Oh, these are just the statutory Delta only. In fact, for instance, the agricultural impacts here are in terms of agricultural revenues. So there's no... These don't include any...
crop losses primarily.
Right. There's no multiplier effects or job losses or processing or anything. That's just basically a crop revenue impact here.